Musica é apresentado por Rolex.
A encenação de uma ópera é um enorme desafio. Centenas de pessoas estão envolvidas até à noite de estreia.
I think what makes a great opera, obviously, is a great story.
And then you have to have a composer who knows how to use music in order to tell a story.
We created this production pretty much around the idea of a boxing ring.
I think that there's over like 400 costumes.
Como é que se dá vida à música e à história de uma ópera contemporânea? Vamos aos bastidores do Metropolitan Opera, em Nova Iorque, e revelamos o que é preciso para apresentar a inovadora ópera Champion. Descobrir Champion, a nova produção do MET. Primeira ronda. No centro de cada ópera emocionante está uma grande história. E esta é a história verdadeira de um dos maiores pugilistas de todos os tempos que chegou a Nova Iorque na década de 1950. Emile Griffith. O pugilista das Ilhas Virgens Americanas guarda um segredo. Tem uma vida dupla e é bissexual. Um adversário, Benny Kid Parrott, descobre e sussurra-lhe insultos homofóbicos antes de um combate em 1962. Enquanto estão no ringue, acontece uma das maiores tragédias da história do desporto. Emile Griffith deixa Parrott em coma e este morre 10 dias depois. Emile viveu o resto da vida assombrado pela culpa. E foi esta história trágica que inspirou o compositor a escrever a ópera Champion.
The line that really gets me is like, you know, I killed the man and the world forgave me, but yet I love the man and the world wants to kill me. It's something that makes the whole story unfortunate in a way.
I killed a man and the world forgives me. I love a man.
Well, at the core of this story, to me, it's about two things. It's about redemption and forgiveness. And the forgiveness part is forgiving yourself.
O trompetista de jazz Terence Blanchard, 6 vezes galardoado com um Grammy, escreveu a ópera. É uma das grandes vozes da música americana contemporânea. Colabora há mais de 30 anos com o realizador Spike Lee.
In this piece, you're going to hear a lot of different things. You know, we call it an opera and jazz because, you know, I'm using a lot of jazz elements. But we have calypso, we have sambas, you know, we have even some street beats, if you want to call it that. If I'm going to be a contemporary composer, then all of this is possible DNA for a composition. All of it, everything in our cultures, from all around the world.
A ópera mostra o campeão de pesos médios em diferentes fases da vida através do flashback, o que representa um desafio para a equipa criativa. O diretor de palco e o cenógrafo juntam-se para definir o aspecto do mundo que querem criar.
I think the thing that I find these days with new operas and composers who want to do opera, they're more influenced by film than they are by theater. So it's very rare to do a new opera that doesn't have 20 scenes at least.
Para dar vida ao projeto será utilizada uma caixa modelo, uma espécie de casa de bonecas. É uma pequena versão do que será o cenário. Ajudará o cenógrafo a tomar decisões importantes sobre o palco e sobre a luz.
Honestly, the easiest part is figuring out what it's going to look like. With a thing like this, you've really got to start with the way it moves. Because the way a set moves can't be an encumbrance.
This isn't the type of opera where we bring down the curtain and then take it out when the next scene happens. It just keeps going. So we have to work out all of those transitions very, very carefully.
Emile Griffith, is that you?
Wants to know.
It's me, Mommy.
Os cenários são construídos na oficina de cenografia e carpintaria. O MET tem uma oficina onde uma equipa de artesãos faz tudo, desde a carpintaria à soldadura e à pintura. Para esta produção, uma enorme cortina de espetáculo foi pintada à mão.
MET's a big stage. We work big, we're versed in working big. You sort of need to have in mind that from a distance, color, value, texture, sheen, temperature, you need to crank all that up a certain amount.
Dar vida visual às personagens. Esta é uma tarefa importante para o figurinista. No MET, mais de uma centena de artesãos trabalham em milhares de fatos e perucas em cada temporada. O premiado figurinista Montana Levi Blanco começou a trabalhar em Champion um ano antes do início dos ensaios. Desde a criação até à escolha dos tecidos e ao trabalho com os artesãos.
What you see here is, I guess some would call like our war wall. I think that there's over like 400 costumes, and so it's really helpful for us with these scenes with many, many people. It's really helpful for us to see everybody as a collective. So what's really beautiful about Champion is that it's a memory piece, right? And so we are thrown back into these very visceral, real, alive memories throughout Emile's life. So one of the first is a carnival in the Virgin Islands in the late 40s. The second is a 1950s cabaret drag bar called Hagen's Hole. And the third really interesting space is kind of this male-dominated, masculine gym space. So I think that's what's really special about Champion is that it's an amalgam of all these worlds that you might not normally have access to, and Champion allows us to present that on the stage in a really beautiful and engaging way. The research that we are working from. One of the really special things about being at the Met is that they have relationships with kind of antique jeweler vendors, and so we're able to kind of use vintage stuff when in processes where you wouldn't probably normally be able to use vintage. So kind of like right now in the process, I think that we have our basic infrastructure, right? And then we gotta like put like the sprinkles and the frosting.
Alguns papéis exigem grandes sacrifícios.
Good morning. I'm Speedo. I've been training for the Mets champion for about a year. Come watch me train.
O baixo barítono Ryan Speedo Green, que interpreta Emile Griffith, perdeu 40 quilos para ficar em forma para o combate. A história do campeão de boxe faz parte do compromisso do MET de expandir o repertório e alcançar novos públicos.
when you're doing a modern work, a new work, there's so much that goes into even unprecedented territory of how you're going to present it. Like, I mean, even I think about today, you know, we have huge dance numbers in this piece, more so than probably any opera that the Met has done in a long time.
No way!
You know, my entire career up to this point has been about breaking preconceptions. You know, I come from a trailer park in Virginia, and the fact that I'm singing at one of the greatest opera houses in the world, it's a big deal. But now I think with this opera champion, I have the opportunity to break the preconceptions of opera goers, of opera fans, of what opera can be.
Ready, ready, ready.
Ready, 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 ready. Ready for the fight and ready for anything. Ready, ready, ready.
This is not just an opera. I mean, there's so much involved. There's dance. I mean, there's a parade on stage, stilt walkers. I mean, it's amazing to look at, it's amazing to listen to, and it's even more amazing to feel these kinds of stories. I'm hoping that the audience will say, you know what? This is beyond our wildest dreams.
I'm very proud to be able to have people experience something that will open their eyes to this art form, which will allow them to do more investigation and have more experiences themselves.
No próximo episódio de Música, seguimos de perto o processo de ensaio até à noite de estreia.
Música foi-lhe apresentado por Rolex.